Cisse Spragins. Dr. Spragins is Vice Chair of the Missouri Libertarian Party. Welcome and thank you for being here.
Well, I want to thank you for the opportunity to hold the hearings and the opportunity to present testimony to the committee. I want to address, I'm representing the Missouri Libertarian Party, but I'm also representing myself as a citizen of the state. I'm a business owner in the state. I own a small manufacturing company in a heavily regulated industry. I'm an employer, and I don't spend my time contemplating how to blow up government buildings or abortion clinics. And I'm involved in mainstream society, I guess is what I'm trying to say in that regard. If any of you ever want to talk about regulation on small business, I'd give me a call, please. Anyway. I want to talk about three areas. Firstly, the MIAC report really misrepresents libertarians. I mean, the report chronicles a history of very violent actions of people that are self-described as militia members, and their motivations are frequently hate, and that's really the antithesis of libertarianism. We do have some issue commonality with those people. We support the Second Amendment. We're opposed to income taxes, for example. Those are certainly issues that we have commonality with. However, that does not mean that we are white supremacists, that we're anti-Semitic, that we're neo-Nazis. We're really the exact opposite of that. These things are repugnant to libertarians. Libertarians basically view the ultimate minority as the individual, and we respect the rights of the individual in everything that we do. And so we, sorry about that, because I don't talk loud. Non-aggression is a principal ideology of libertarianism. We don't advocate violence for any reason, not for social or political means, for any reason other than self-defense. So we don't advocate the initiation of violence for any reason. So the report really mischaracterized libertarians. I don't know if that was intentional or misrepresentation or just ignorance on the part of the authors of the report. The Libertarian Party is really neither right-wing nor left-wing. We're kind of equal opportunity disagreeers, I guess. Both sides of the political spectrum. There certainly are right-leaning libertarians and left-leaning libertarians. However, pure libertarianism is neither right-wing nor left-wing. So I guess that's the first point, that we really don't blame the problems of society on any ethnic groups. We don't blame it on Jews. We don't blame it on immigrants. We don't blame those problems on people. The second point is that we really feel that political profiling is simply inappropriate in any case. We don't feel that government should use political ideology or identification with a legitimate political party as a means for any reason, not for law enforcement, not for any reason. We don't see that is remotely appropriate for government to basically profile people based on their support of particular issues or their support of a particular political party. Freedom of expression is protected by both the Missouri Constitution and the U.S. Constitution, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and also the right to peaceably assemble and to redress, petition for redress of grievances with the government. And those things are both protected by both Missouri and the U.S. Constitution, and we need to have the right to do those things. The participation in the political process is very important, and particularly participation in third-party politics, which is really outside of the status quo, so to speak, is very important, and we don't think that government should be doing things to profile people or to dissuade people from doing that. The report talks about the In the Fed rallies, tax protests, bailout protests, that sort of thing. I was in an In the Fed rally that I participated in earlier this year, and there were a group of left anarchist that were there trying to sort of recruit us, I guess, was the best way of putting it. I talked to some of them, and they were trying to kind of tell us, you know, we should change sides or something. And after a while, I overheard one of them talking to the other one, and they said, you know, man, we can't even get these people to jaywalk, you know. They were trying to get us to do all sorts of things, you know, that were sort of unlawful and whatnot. And we were all being very, you know, sort of, and, you know, it's, you know, it's just inappropriate to say that because you go to a protest. The Department of Defense training document has classified people who are protesters, even if it's peaceful protesters, they just say protesters, as low-level terrorists. And that's really, you know, an abomination, in my opinion. I mean, where is it going to end if the government starts to do that type of thing, if they start to say that, okay, you have a run called bumper stickers, so we're not sure that we're going to issue you a concealed carry permit. You know, where does that type of thing end, is the question that I have if it sort of continues. The last point is, you know, why do we need fusion centers? I'm not afraid by foreign or domestic terrorism. I don't spend my days being afraid of those things, and I don't want government to be afraid on my behalf. And I certainly don't want government to undermine our freedom and our right to due process in the name of so-called protecting us. Basically, in response to 2 terrorist attacks, we basically have created vast new bureaucracies. We've created travel, commerce disruptions. We've shredded the Bill of Rights. We've spent hundreds of billions of dollars. We've launched an invasion. We've done a lot of things, and you know, our risk at this point from terrorism is, you know, you're 200 times more likely to get injured in a car wreck. So we really don't feel that these types of centers are necessary. We feel the concentration of power always leads to abuse, and that the purpose of law enforcement is to protect the citizens, to help protect citizens and their persons and property. It's not to protect the government from the citizens. And I guess in closing, I'll say that, you know, Daniel Webster quoted in, I think, 1837, that, you know, the greatest threat to our liberties comes not from a foreign enemy, but from the unmindfulness of the citizens in terms of not critiquing or trusting the politicians, and that they will become the dupes of designing men, I believe you said. So, you know, that's something that we need to remember. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Spragins. We have first our vice chair here for our first question.
I want to go back to that quote that you gave about calling protesters low-level terrorists. Where did that come from?
It's apparently in a Department of Defense training document. My understanding is that the ACLU has actually filed a lawsuit or something. This is something that I read about recently. I had heard about it some time ago, and then I actually researched it more recently to sort of dig it up. But apparently there's when law enforcement is trained on various things like terrorism, there's a question that says, you know, what would be a low-level terrorist? And the correct answer is a protester.
I guess that's part of our concern here, because when we had the first meeting, Highway Patrol kept saying, you know, you need to read this MIAC report with the understanding, you know, that they put certain words ahead of it that, you know, we don't understand the meaning of it. But that's my concern here, that somebody being trained on this, that, you know, anybody who's a protester, would that include those who protest the National Health Care Plan now, those who loudly protest that, would they fall in the same category? I guess that's our concern. So I was just curious where that came from. Thank you.
Anyone else have a question for the witness? All right, seeing none, thank you very much for your testimony, and appreciate you taking the time to be with us today.
Thank you.
All right, we'll call our